today's project, we're going to talk about drainage. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get wet. You got to walk your property and find out, why are you getting surface water? Recommend good pair of muck boots. Tractor Supply, 50 bucks, perfect. So I'm out in my yard here and there's a road that has a runoff. And if you look over here, there's actually a natural drain that goes from the street where that runoff is, and it goes all the way down. It's a natural drain. So this is what I'm going to tie into. And if you look, you see the water's rushing on the left-hand side here, and it's not on the right-hand side. So all we're going to do is find where there's blockage and remove it. There's a stick right there. There's some dirt, some leaves, and we're going to keep going until we remove all the blockage. If you look over here, this is actually one I had already cleaned out, and the water is rushing on the right-hand side. And if you look over here, all that groundwater has sunk down about 8 inches. I did that last weekend, and you can see it's still working. So we're going to do the same thing here. Dig all this out. Make sure we got a nice pathway for that water to drain in the natural drain. And that's it. I'll show you before and after. I should also mention that the only way you can accomplish this is if you purchase or acquire some really expensive and heavy-duty equipment, and you can't really do this with, traditional tools or anything like that. So here's your 5 pieces of machinery you're going to need, and it's a pretty big investment, but it'll be worth it. We get pretty good flow going. So on the right here, that was stagnant really before I started. And on the left, that's the flow from the street. So you can see that groundwater is now all draining into this natural drain. And all you're doing for the first part, you're just getting rid of the ground cover. So you just dig small channels for the water to drain out of, and you can see it flowing. Going right to that natural drain. And then you just progressively go through it. As you see, this water is not draining. So we're going to remove this blockage, connect it to where we know it is draining, and then just keep pushing back. And eventually, this will all dry out. Once it dries out, you come back, the wheelbarrow, grab your brush, toss it, recycle it, compost it, burn it. Got yourself a dry land. So here's a blockage they just removed. You can see the water is already draining to the channel. And then you look here, this is still stagnant. Well, why is that? I'll connect the dots. If I know it's draining here, and I know that's stagnant, guess what? I gotta remove this. This is so incredibly simple to do. Companies charge you, I think I got a quote, it was $7,000 to come out here, and they were gonna rip out all my trees. They were gonna regrade the land. We get a lot of deer, we get a lot of squirrels and birds. We don't really want to destroy this property. So by doing this, I don't think it's been done in 30 years. I do it once or twice every couple of years, and this is gonna work just fine. Just removing that little clump. Look, you can see the current. See it pulling the sticks? I realize it's windy and raining, but it's working. We get rid of all this groundwater. Look at it rushing here. Look, it's actually, I got more flow coming from my pond than I do from the municipal drain on the street. So I'm actually diverting more water than what the town is. And this is a natural drain. There's nothing wrong with this. There's a creek over there. It goes right down to the creek. So you always got to remember, water moves downhill, right? So my yard is pitched this way, and all this groundwater is stuck because of all this ground that has built up, most likely sediment from this drain. So as I dig small channels connecting it, all this groundwater will eventually bleed off into it from the surface. Now, underground water, that's different. It leaches horizontally, and that's actually what a lot of this is. But you can only drain so much through the soil. So this groundwater will literally stay here until it evaporates sometime in the spring, if ever. That's where you get all your mosquitoes from. So clear your drains, get this moving, maintain it. You'll have a nice piece of property. All right, this is gonna take a little bit different approach. So we open that channel. See, it's flowing real good. And you probably can't pick it up on the video, but I can actually hear a little bit of a waterfall going into the creek now, which means I got a real good water flow. So what I'm gonna do now is, remember we got our real expensive equipment here. I'm gonna take my excavator. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dig a trench right through this berm here that was created over, decades of silt. This is all sand here. See this? This isn't even mud. This is all deposits coming downstream. So all this is here is just buildup from this never being cleaned out. Just like drain lines in a house, right? Eventually they fill up, they plug up, you gotta go clean them out. So we're gonna do some landscape plumbing, open this drain, and I'll show you the difference. Look at that, $7,000. That'll all drain out. Just dug a little channel. You can see, again, it's all sediment. It's just anything that washed down. It's all built up. I could technically clean all this out, but there's no need to. Just cut little channels. Got one there, got one there, got one down there. Look at how this is filled up now. This wasn't even draining a week ago. Look at this. Got natural drain. Here's more sediment. And what's interesting is where I dug that out, look at how far down it went. You can actually see this was the original bottom. Look at that. It's almost 3 inches deeper just from draining. Follow this all the way down. That's why you need muck boots. Look at this. I got rapids now. I had to dig all this out. Just pull the leaves out, put them on the burn. You can hear it. It's gonna be sloshing it, but you can hear it running. Look at it, it's all cleaned out. This is great. Stops your basement from flooding, stops ice from pooling up. And this is another interesting thing. When you buy property, you never know what you're gonna run into. I found the old chimney was buried here, and I keep finding bricks. Here's 2 more. Washed away the dirt and clay. Pull these out. Those are no good. It's garbage. There's more. There's 2 more. I'm gonna have to dig those out. It's just garbage. It's not natural. And it's terrible for drainage because those holes, you can see it, they plug up with dirt, and then stuff grows, and then it creates a dam. And there's another brick. There's another one right there. So, never-ending story. And then there's the creek right there, Buffalo Creek. Running right into it. I'm going to expand on my point about the brick. So this was the brick I just pulled out, right? So if we go here, got good flow, right? Now, this is a little over the top, but right? Basically building a dam. No matter how these are situated in there, they're not going to move, they're not going to erode. Stones erode. So if you want to prevent erosion, slow down water flow, use cobblestone. This is natural, I didn't put these here. But you can see, yeah, these stones are slowing the water down. This is current, right? So if you take the stone out, what happens? Hey, look at that, you increase your flow. Slow it down, throw a couple cobblestones in there. You don't want to dam this. It needs to be a natural drain. And if you look, Mother Nature's doing their thing where you got all kinds of cobblestones in here just from eroding the sediment, washing it out. You know, big stones. These are perfectly smooth. That's natural. Leave those. Take out the brick, take out the garbage. You know, here we got tree root. Nothing I could do about that. I'm not gonna cut it, leave that alone. But I don't know. I pulled out 2 dozen bricks. So somebody thought it was a good idea. First off, throw their garbage in here. Secondly, they were trying to dam this river drainage for whatever reason. Well, damn it, it worked, and it backed all this up, and look what happened. So I've been out here, I don't know, not even an hour. Again, none of this was flowing, so this is just from those 2 channels that I cut. Let's see how we're doing. Look at this. This is the first one we did. There is still water coming. And what's interesting, this is probably the neatest part. So I dug this out and it's relatively stagnant again. Got water flow at my feet. This has stopped draining. This is continuing to drain. So all I gotta do is just dig this out a little bit more until it starts flowing again. And that's why it's so important that this isn't a one and done thing. You gotta maintain it. Look at all this water. All this water will eventually drain out of here. You just gotta keep digging it out. Okay, so we fixed our drains. This will dry out. We got good current moving. This will all dry away. So how did this happen? Well, water doesn't flow uphill. So where did the flow stop? And you can see I dug all this out, got rid of sediment, pulled some stones out, didn't find any more bricks. That was good. But I did find a blockage right here. You see where I dug it out. What was it? Well, it was a vine. There's vines all over these woods. They go up the trees, strangling that one, and it actually grew right across here, and it was along the ground. So it had created like a dam, and as soon as I opened that up, all this water started to recede back to the channel, but it eventually stopped. So kept coming up the stream. There was some sediment here, some blockage, pulled some stones out of the way, increased the flow. There's a bunch of stones here, kind of made a little bit of the dam. But then I found this. The root of the problem is literally a tree root. Guess I gotta call my buddy the flannel man. Take this tree out, that one's leaning, cut this root, and then this should all fix itself. So, kind of a long video for today. Thanks for watching. Here is before. Here's after. Now we gotta just let it drain.